हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So in our study of third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, yesterday we saw the meeting of Vidurji and Uddhavji is happening on the banks of Yamuna river, and Vidurji asked various questions about the well-beings of personalities from Dwarka. So he began with asking about the well-being of Lord Krishna and Balram, then about other personalities from Dwarka, and in yesterday's class at the end, or in the beginning we saw, he asked about Akruji, then personalities from Hastinapur, beginning with, from Hastinapur, Kunti Maharani, Devaki, then Kunti Maharani, then Yudhishthira Maharaj, then Arjun, Bhim, Arjun, Nakul, Sahadev, and at the end he asked about Dhritarashtra, not well-being, but Adhapatantam. So Aham Shochami, I lament for him because he is on the way to hell, Adhapatantam. And after that, there was one sloka telling that I don't become disturbed by this, my elder brother's behavior towards me, because by Lord's grace I understand his greatness, and I'm wandering through various pilgrimage places without becoming disturbed. So this one word we saw, Pashan, Padavim Pashan. So Lord's greatness I am seeing all the time. And we studied Tika of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in that connection. And later on the sloka came, why did Lord Krishna took so long to punish Kauravas? 43 number slok. Nunam Nrupanam Trimadotpathanam Mahim Muhuschalayatam Chamuvihi Vadhat Prapannarati Jihirshayesho Apyupaikshat Agham Bhagavan Kurunam. So, Tika for this yesterday, Raghav Krupa Prabhu, what is the breaking of this word? So here, Nunam Nischitam Tribhir Madair Utpathanam Uddhatanam Vadhat Hetu. So the cause for killing these kings who were proud because of 3 types of mud. So cause for this is the next word, Prapannanam Arti Jihir Shaya Isha Agha Samaye Yeva. This is the word, Agha Samaye Yeva. So at the time when they performed Agha or Aparad or sin, that time only Hantum Samarthopi. So Prapannanam Arti Jihir Shaya Isha Api. So Samartha Api Kurunam Agham Upaikshata. So although he was able to give punishment to all those people who committed offense, still he did Durlaksha or Upaikshata. So Tadanim eva tesham vadhe. if he would have killed Kauravas at that time only, tadanim eva tesham vadhe सर्व दुष्ट राजा वधः न स्यात्, अन्य जो दुष्ट राजा है उनका वध नहीं हो पाता, इति आशयेन इत्यर्थ. Then 3 types of mada. So this is the again thoughts of slight revision, and actually next sloka Vidurji mentions about why Lord comes here, to punish those who deviate from the Vedic path and to set an example for people to perform right kind of work or their duty. So please describe me. So last sloka, Tirtha kirtehe vartam kirtaya. So please describe me the varta of the Tirtha kirtehe. So about Tirtha Kirti, Prabhupada writes in the purport of this last sloka. So that one paragraph we will read and then go to next chapter. The purpose of pilgrimages is to remember the Lord constantly, and therefore the Lord is known as Tirtha Kirti. The purpose of going to a place of pilgrimage is to get the chance to glorify the Lord. Even today, although times have changed, there are still pilgrimage sites in India. For example, in Mathura and Vrindavan, where we had a chance to stay, people are awake from early in the morning at 4 a.m. up until night time and are constantly engaged some way or other in chanting the holy glories of the Lord. The beauty of such a pilgrimage site is that automatically one remembers the holy glories of the Lord. So holy or Tirtha is the place where spiritual vibrations or tower, modern mobile का tower जैसे नजदीक रहता है, range comes immediately. So there is no problem in connecting ourselves with another person. So similarly in holy place, connecting with the Lord is very easy. So therefore Prabhupada is writing here, what is the line? At any time, one line before I think, one remembers the holy glories of the Lord. His name, fame, qualities, form, pastimes and entourage are all identical to the Lord, and therefore chanting the glories of the Lord invokes the personal presence of the Lord. Any time or anywhere pure devotees meet and chant the glories of the Lord is present without any doubt. It is said by the Lord himself that he always stays where his pure devotees chant his glories. So now today we shall begin second chapter of this third canto. So one sloka from Tika by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur telling saransh or briefly describing what this second chapter contains. So that we'll see and then recite the sloka. So here, Dvitiye Prema Vaiklavya Rodana Stapitananaha Vrajalilam Samasena Rasantam Uddhavo Avadat. So in second chapter, Dvitiye Prema Vaiklavya. So he became overwhelmed because of the affection he had for Lord Krishna. Rodana Stapita. So he cried so much that his face was washed away. So Snapita Ananaha. Anana means face, and his face was completely cleansed because of his tears. Vrajalilam Samasena Rasantam Uddhava Avadat. So instead of answering all the questions which Vidurji had asked, so he elaborately described about Vrajalila. So there was no question by Vidur about Vrajalila, but Uddhav felt so much deep remembrance of the Lord that he described Vrajalila. Samasena, very briefly, Rasantam, So up to Ras Leela. So Uddhava spoke Krishna's Leela in Vrindavan till Ras Leela. So now we'll begin from the first sloka. Today we'll try to cover 20 slokas. This chapter has 38 slokas. So 10 in the first half, 10 in the after Gayatri. Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti Bhagavatah Prushtah Ksatra Vartam Priyashrayam Prativaktum na Chotseha Autkanthyat Smariteshwarah. So now Shukdev Goswami is describing to Parikshit Maharaj, after Vidura asked these questions, what happened to Uddhav. So here, Ksatra means by Vidura, Vartam. So, Tirtha Kirti Vartam Kathaya. So after being asked about the Varta, and what is that speciality of that Varta? Priya Ashrayam. So Priya means Krishna Ashrayam Vartam. जिस वार्ता का विषय कृष्ण आश्रित है या कृष्ण ही है. So being asked by Kshatriya, that is Vidurena, Bhagavatah Prushtah. तो भागवत यह मैत्रेय पृष्ठ. So मैत्रेय के लिए एडजेक्टिव क्या है? स्मारितेश्वरः. So he was reminded of the Supreme Lord. How was Uddhav? Uddhav was being reminded of the Supreme Lord. Autkanthyat. So very lovingly, तो स्नेह पूर्ण भाव से भगवान का रिमेम्बरेंस जिनको दिलाया गया है. औत्कंठ्यात स्मारितेश्वरः. तो प्रतिवक्तुम, जो भी प्रश्न विदुर जी आस्क्ड, so he couldn't answer. Uddhav ji couldn't answer. Prativaktum na utseha. So he couldn't reply. This is from the Tika for this sloka. Tad eva priyavartam prusthasya uddhavasya Sri Krishna viraha autkantya aveshena prati vachana asamarthyam ah. So there was inability, asamarthyam, to answer. So this is described in 6 slokas, Shadbhi, beginning with first. And the sloka, first sloka begins with iti iti. Smarita Ishwarah Yasya. जिसको भगवान का स्मरण दिलाया गया था, ऐसे स्मारितेश्वर. So Prabhupada's translation for this sloka. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, when the great devotee Uddhav Bhagavatah was asked by Vidur Kshatriya to speak on the messages of the dearest Priya Ashra, what is the word? Priya Shrayam. Yeah, Priya Ashrayam. Uddhav was unable to answer immediately due to excessive anxiety, Autkanthyat, at the remembrance of the Lord. So he couldn't answer at this time. This is not the first time he couldn't answer or respond to someone who is talking to him. It happened in his childhood also. So that is told in the second sloka. Yaha panchahayano matra pratar ashaya yachitah tad naichad rachayanyasya saparyam balalilaya. तो ये जो यह पंचहायनः, जब 5 साल के थे, when he was 5 years old, so that time yasya means Sri Krishnasya बाल लीलया, श्री कृष्ण की बाल लीलाओं को सपर्याम, Saparyam yani ki Saparyam Rachayan. So these two words should be taken together. Saparyam. Saparyam means as artificially arranged instruments or objects. Saparyam Rachayan, arranged, or he arranged for the Bal Leelas of the Lord. And Pratah, in the morning, Ashaya Yachitah Matra. Ashaya means Bhojanam. भोजन के लिए बुलाने वाली माता, याचितः मात्रा. हे उद्धव, भोजन का समय हो गया, आ जाओ जल्दी, ऐसे पुकार रही है जोर से. लेकिन तद, that आशय, that tad word refers to आशय, तद न इच्छत. So he did not desire to have that breakfast. So he said, my seva for the Lord is not yet over. So I don't want to come to have breakfast. So from the Tika, second, etad eva kaimutya nyayena prapanchayati. So why he couldn't respond? So that is etad eva kaimutya, means in the childhood he did not respond, then what to speak of now when he is 100 years old? So in the childhood only he did not respond. Kaimutya nyayena prapanchayati ya iti dvabhyam, in 2 slokas. Yaha pancha varshah api, when he was 5 years old, or only 5 years old. Bala leelaya iti krishnam kanchit parikalpya. So one form of maybe child or doll. So kanchit parikalpya kalpitaihi eva sadhanaihi. So imagined samagri. उसके द्वारा परिचर्याम कुर्वन. So परिचर्याम कुर्वन, सपर्याम का मीनिंग. परिचर्याम कुर्वन प्रातः भोजनार्थम. So आशयम is भोजनार्थम. प्रार्थितः अपि. So मात्रा प्रार्थितः याचितः अपि तद भोजनम न इच्छत. He did not wish to have that bhojan. In the childhood only he didn't respond when somebody was calling him because of being absorbed in Krishna. Then what to speak of when his remembrance has become matured? Childhood only his devotion was so intense, now it has become more intense. So how he will respond now? So that is, so kim uta, martyanam kim utashisha. So value of association of devotees is so great. Then things of this world which are considered great, they cannot be even compared with the value of association of pure devotee. किम उधर भी कई मुक्ति न्याय उधर भी है. He was one who even in his childhood at the age of 5 years was so absorbed in the service of Lord Krishna that when he was called by his mother for morning breakfast, he did not wish to have it. So that was Buddha's absorption in the childhood. Somebody can read the purport. Mike.
From his very birth, Uddhava was a natural devotee of Lord Krishna, or a Nitya Siddha, a liberated soul. From natural instinct, he used to serve Lord Krishna, even in his childhood. He used to play with dolls in the form of Krishna. He would serve the dolls by dressing, feeding, and worshipping them, and thus he was constantly absorbed in the play of transcendental realization. These are the signs of an eternally liberated soul. An eternally liberated soul is a devotee of Lord who never forgets Him. Human life is meant for reviving one's eternal relationship with the Lord, and all religious injunctions are meant for awakening this dormant instinct of the living entity. The sooner this awakening is brought about, the quicker the mission of human life is fulfilled. In a good family of devotees, The child gets the opportunity to serve the Lord in many ways. A soul who is already advanced in devotional service has the opportunity to take birth in such an enlightened family. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 6.41. Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Vijayate. Even the fallen devotee gets the opportunity to take his birth in the family of a well-situated Brahmana or in a rich, well-to-do mercantile family. In both these families, there is a good opportunity to revive one's sense of God consciousness automatically, because particularly in these families, the worship of Lord Krishna is regularly performed, and the child gets the opportunity to imitate the process of worship called Archana.
So from the beginning only this training should be given. So this sloka, Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashto Vichayate. And what is the next sloka? Athva Yoginam Eva Kule Bhavati Dhimatam Etad Hi Durlabhataram Loke Janma Yadidrisham. So actually there are two categories only. One is Srimatam and Dhimatam. An adjective for Srimatam is Shuchinam. So rich people who earned money by proper means. So that is Shuchinam Srimatam. And then Athva Yoginam Dhimatam. Those who are practicing yoga, and intelligent, but those who are practicing yoga. So I always had this question. Lord is speaking only about two categories, like Prabhupada के purport में जरा चार दिखते हैं. एक शुचिनाम, श्रीमताम, योगिनाम, धीमताम. So this is just I understood from one of the tikas. Therefore I wanted to share. Srimatam ka adjective, Shuchinam, those who became wealthy by honest means, not illegal means. Okay, next.
The Pancharatriki formula for training persons in devotional service is temple worship, whereby the neophytes get the opportunity to learn devotional service to the Lord. Maharaj Parikshit also used to play with Krishna dolls in his childhood. In India, the children in good families are still given dolls of the Lord like Rama and Krishna, or sometimes the demigods, so that they may develop the aptitude of service to the Lord. By the grace of the Lord, we were given the same opportunity by our parents, and the beginning of our life was based on this principle.
Anand, go Prabhu.
Question was there.
Yes.
Prabhu, this appears as an apparent contradiction whenever this shloka has been quoted, Suchinam Srimatam Gehe, and when Kunti Maharani says that Janma Ishwara Shrutasribi. These are the impediments she is saying. And here it has been mentioned that it is next life he will be getting the Suchinam Srimatam Gehe. So how to see this contradiction?
That risk is there, but at least because of previous devotional Sukruti, they have got this birth. So that possibility of again deviating or becoming proud, not practicing devotional service, that possibility is there. But they have achieved that birth because of performing devotional service in the past. How they will use that is not described. They have got it because of this. Most of the wealthy people get deviated.
They serve also very nice.
मैं बोलने वाला था अभी. बिरला फैमिली, एवरी तीर्थ क्षेत्र उनका गेस्ट हाउस है, या पदमपत सिंघानिया, so he also gives lot of charity. So there are examples of wealthy people who are generously donating for spiritual cause. Ford, अभी अम्बरीश Prabhu.
But it is seen generally that like those who are wealthy, they may give some donation, but they don't take the devotional service. And it has been seen that those who are somewhat middle class people, those who are, they will be accepting this devotional service. It has been observed by me. Like so many people, those who are somewhat middle class, they are only practicing the devotional service, not the high class or the rich. And it is very tough to preach to the brahmanas. They are having preconceived notions actually about that.
That is what धीमताम कैसे धीमताम योगी नाम, भगवान से संबंध जोड़ने का प्रयास करने वाले इंटेलिजेंट पीपल. देयर आर इंटेलिजेंट पीपल. इवन यदुस आगे आएगा. यदुस वेर वेरी, दे वर डेमिगॉड्स who took birth in the family of Lord Krishna. So they were far more intelligent than common person, but they couldn't appreciate Lord's greatness. So especially the end years before that Mosal Lila, all the Yadus were intoxicated. One saint in Gujarat, so-called saint, he takes only that part. Yadus behaved with Krishna and Balram in a very wrong way. So Krishna tolerated, even Balram got affected by their association. So he took that only last part. So your question is, yeah, middle class people take, but rich people don't take. So that is the case with at that time also, Krishna's time also. If you want to add something?
I heard that just like a doctor's son, he gets the opportunity to take this stethoscope. So many facilities are there. But unless he goes to the medical college, he will not become the doctor. Similarly, that opportunity will be given, not that everyone will become doctor. Doctor's son will become doctor. It's not that. So they get the opportunity only, not that they will become devotee.
Right.
Like that I heard.
Yoginam and Dhimatam. So those who are little advanced, they need some backup to practice maybe. Because they may take up, with that wealth and all those shuchi.
Correct.
But those who are advanced, like Prabhupada writes about himself and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that we were born in a devoted family.
Correct.
Yogi's family. So that's Prabhupada makes distinguish. The small advanced will take birth in Suchinam Shrimatam, and higher advanced yogis will take birth in Yoginam Dhimatam.
Correct. Shuchinam means those who have earned money by honest means without exploiting common people. Those who have done little progress in yoga, after enjoying for many years, prapya punya kritam lokam ushitva shashvati samaha, then Shuchinam Shrimadam Gehi. After prapya punya kritam lokan ushitva means रहते हुए, shashvati sama, shashvat as if eternal, shashvati sama, years or many years. Heavenly lands. After residing there for many years, then they will take birth in Shuchinam Shrimatam. Yoga Bhrashta. So that Karma Yogi, Jnana Yogi, Dhyana Yogi, Krishna is speaking from that perspective. So those who Yoga Chalita Manasa, they become deviated because their mind get distracted to other allurements. So what he is saying is,
This is one kind of mercy, but higher mercy is that Krishna takes away everything. And so that devotee, for a devotee he deals in that way. For a yogi he deals in this way, but for a devotee to give him a higher mercy, he does not give him anything, and so that his dependence on Krishna increases more.
Okay.
Rich people are there, they may not be Shuchina.
Then
that that family, those who take birth may not be actually yoga.
Yes. Yes, they are still accumulating pious, devotional pious credits.
Or they may be not pious also so much.
Yes. So second sloka for describing this Kaimutya Nyaya. Sakatham sevaya tasya kalena jarasam gatah prushto vartam prati bruyat bhartuhu padavanusmaran. So now, in due course of time, kalena sah tasya sevaya, in due course of time, tasya sevaya means Sri Krishna sevaya, jarasam gatah, he has become old, not physically exactly, but by practice, so many years of practice, or devotionally he has become old, mature, jarasam gatah. So, and now he is padau anusmaran. So, tasya sevaya padau anusmaran. Ya bhartruhu padau anusmaran. Bhartu means again Krishna का चरण कमलों का अनुस्मरण करता हुआ. तो कथम प्रतिब्रूयात. तो वार्ताम पृष्ठ, ऐसी वार्ता पूछे जाने पर how can he reply? Even in childhood he did not reply. So in now practicing for so many years, how could he reply? So this is the Kaimutya Nyaya getting completed in third sloka. So here jarasam vruddhatvam gatah praptah. Jarasam gatah ka meaning vruddhatvam gatah. So vruddhatvam doesn't mean physical. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives another sloka from Bhagavatam. All the residents or associates of the Lord did not become old. Another sloka from Bhagavatam. So here old means by seva he has become old, very experienced. So Prabhupada's translation for this. Uddhav thus served the Lord continuously from childhood, and in his old age that attitude of service never slackened. As soon as he was asked about the message of the Lord, to Vartam Prushtah, he at once remembered all about him. So this Katham Prati, kya tha? Katham Prati Bruyat. How could he speak? So that sense Prabhupada doesn't write. Prabhupada writes, he at once remembered all about him. Or ye Bhartru Pado Anusmaran. So that question mark Prabhupada doesn't write. So someone can read the purport. Correct.
Transcendental service to the Lord is not mundane. The service attitude of the devotee gradually increases and never becomes slackened. Generally, in old age, a person is allowed retirement from mundane service. But in transcendental service of the Lord, there is no retirement at all. On the contrary, the service attitude increases more and more with the progress of age. In the transcendental service, there is no satiation, and therefore there is no retirement. Materially, when a man becomes tired by rendering service in his physical body, he is allowed retirement. But in transcendental service, there is no feeling of fatigue, because it is spiritual service and is not on the bodily plane. Service on the bodily plane dwindles as the body grows older, but the spirit is never old, and therefore on the spiritual plane the service is never tiresome. Uddhava undoubtedly became old, but that does not mean that his spirit became old. His service attitude matured on the transcendental plane, and therefore as soon as he was questioned by Vidura about Lord Krishna, he at once remembered his Lord by reference to the context and forgot himself on the physical plane. That is the sign of pure devotional service to the Lord, as will be explained later on, Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya, etc., in Lord Kapila's instructions to his mother Devahuti.
So now, then how Tarhi katham pratyuktavan uchyate. How then he responded, whether he spoke or no. So that is described in next 3 slokas. Sa muhurtam abhutushnim krishnangri sudhaya bhrusham tivrena bhakti yogena nimagnaha sadhu nirvrataha. So saha means Uddhava. Muhurtam tushnim abhut. So muhurtam means how much time. That we'll see. Muhurtam, and then why he became tushnim. Krishnangri sudhaya bhrusham nimagnaha and sadhu nirvrataha. So tivrena bhakti yogena, intense devotional service, and drinking the nectar of Krishna's or Amrit or Sudhaya, Krishnangri Sudhaya. So because of constantly drinking or tasting the nectar of Lord's lotus feet, he became completely Bhrusham Nimagnam, completely absorbed or Tallin, and Sadhu Nirvrataha. So again here Sadhu Nirvrataha, completely joyful, Sadhu Nirvrataha. So this is the meaning. Now let us see the Tika, Sloka number 4. Shri Krishnangri Sudhaya Sadhu Nirvrataha Tasyam Eva. So he was absorbed in tasting the nectar of the lotus feet of the Lord. Tasyam Eva Tivrena. Tivrena ka matlab Vivashatva Apadakena. So as if not having any control over himself, being dragged. Bhakti Yogena, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, same. Bhrusham Nimagnam cha. So completely became absorbed. So therefore he couldn't respond. And for Muhurtam ka bhi aage aayega. For a moment he remained dead silent. Tushnim Abhut. And his body did not move. He became absorbed in the nectar of remembering the Lord's lotus feet in devotional ecstasy, and he appeared to be going increasingly deeper into that ecstasy. So in Marathi there is song Anandache Dohi Ananda Taranga. So he was so much nimajjantam, dubki laga rahe the in remembering the Lord and deriving pleasure by that remembrance. So, purport. Yes.
On the inquiry by Vidura about Krishna, Uddhava appeared to be awakened from slumber. He appeared to regret that he had forgotten the lotus feet of the Lord. Thus he again remembered the lotus feet of the Lord and remembered all his transcendental loving service unto him.
1 minute. तो ये मुहूर्त का डिटेल बताना था आपको. So if you see Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Tika, 48 minutes. A few chapters ahead, there is a description, calculation of time. So there it comes 1 prahar, 3 hours equal to 7 nadika, and 2 nadika equal to 1 muhurt. So by that calculation also it comes to, I calculated 50 minutes, and later on I saw in the Tika of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur it is 48 minutes. So just imagine that you are asking someone about for 48 minutes he is not speaking even one word. So common person will become very disappointed and he will leave that place. But here the case is different. Both of them are in different plane. They will understand. Or Vidurji is asking what is the condition of Uddhavji.
Thus he again remembered the lotus feet of the Lord and remembered all his transcendental loving service unto him. And by so doing, he felt the same ecstasy that he used to feel in the presence of the Lord. Because the Lord is absolute, there is no difference between His remembrance and His personal presence. Thus Uddhava remained completely silent for a moment. But then he appeared to be going deeper and deeper into ecstasy. Feelings of ecstasy are displayed by his highly advanced devotees of the Lord. There are 8 kinds of transcendental changes in the body: tears, shivering of the body, perspiration, restlessness, throbbing, choking of the throat, etc. And all were manifested by Uddhava in the presence of Vidura.
So these symptoms are mentioned in the next sloka. Pulakodbhinna sarvango munchan milidrisha shuchah purnartho lakshitah stena sneha prasara samplutah. So Uddhava's condition or adjective for Uddhava, Pulakod bhinna sarvangah. So Pulaka means the hairs of the body, and Udbhinna, so they stood, sarvanga, all the hairs on his body stood erect. Then Shuchaha Munchan, Shuchaha means tears, and Munchan means gliding down. Miladrisha, so his eyes were closed and he was crying. These tears were coming out from his eyes. So in one place I heard there are 6 kinds of tears. Tears because of sorrow, tears because of happiness, tears because of separation. So other 3 I forgot. Some tears are hot, some are very cool. So modern science doesn't have knowledge about how emotions give rise to different types of tears. So here his eyes were closed and still he was crying. Generally person cries when his eyes are open, but his eyes are closed. Milita drisha shuchah munchan. So why this happened? Ten refers to actually Vidurena. So sneha prasura samplutah. So this Pulaka udbhinna sarvanga and sneha prasara samplutah. So sneha prasara means sneha ka pravaha, dhara, and samplutah, so drowned in that sneha dhara. So Vidurena purnartha lakshita. So Vidura saw that Uddhava has achieved the perfection of his life after seeing his condition. So Tika for this 5 number sloka. Pulakaihi udbhinnani. So udbhinnani ka meaning ujrumbhitani. So hairs which were erect. Sarvani angani yasya. So that is a samasik shabda ka vishleshan. Milintya drisha shucha ashruni munchan. So his eyes were closed and he was shedding tears. Munchan, shedding. Tena vidurena purnartha kritartha lakshita. So he has achieved perfection that Vidura saw. Yataha, what is the reason? Bhagavati yaha sneha tasya prasaraha purha tasmin sampluto nimagna. So he was nimagna in the purha or pravaha of sneha. So first comes prem and then comes sneha. So that Prabhupada will write in the purport. It was so observed by Vidur, Tena Lakshitaha, that Uddhava had all the transcendental bodily changes due to total ecstasy, and he was trying to wipe away tears of separation from his eyes. Thus, Vidur could understand that Uddhava had completely assimilated extensive love for the Lord. Yes, Purport Nilsundar.
The symptom of the highest order of devotional life were observed by Vidura, an experienced devotee of the Lord, and he confirmed Uddhava's perfectional stage of love of Godhead. Ecstatic bodily changes are manifested from the spiritual plane and are not artificial expression developed by practice. There are three different stages of development in devotional service. First stage is that of following the regulative principle prescribed in the codes of devotional service. The second stage is the assimilation and realization of the steady condition of devotional service. And the last stage is that of ecstasy symptomized by transcendental bodily expression. The 9 different modes of devotional service, such as hearing, chanting and remembering, are the beginning of process. By regularly hearing of the glories and pastime of the Lord, the impurity in the students' hearts begin to be washed off. The more one is cleansed of impurity, the more one becomes fixed in devotional service. Gradually the activity takes the form of steadiness, form, faith, taste, realization and assimilation, one after another. This different stage of gradual development increase love of Godhead to the highest stage. And in the highest stage, there are still more symptoms such as affection, anger and attachment gradually rising in the exceptional cases to the Mahabhava stage, which is generally not possible for the living entities. All these are manifested by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's the personification of love of Godhead.
So what are the 3 stages, Nilsundar Babu? You read it.
What?
3 stages of devotional life. So sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, prem bhakti, Prabhupada translates. So these 3 stages. The first stage is that of following the regulative principles prescribed in the codes of devotional service. Second is that of assimilation and realization of the steady condition of devotional service. And the last stage is that of ecstasy. So Vaidhi Bhakti or Sadhana Bhakti first, then Bhava Bhakti and Prem Bhakti. And in that further stages, Mahabhava. Okay. Shanakair Bhagaval Lokan Nalokam Punaragatah Vimrujjanetri Viduram Prityahodhava Utsmayan. तो शनकैः शनैः शनैः उपरमेद बुद्ध्या धृति गृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किंचिदपि चिन्तयेत्. धीरे धीरे शनकैः पुनरागतः, धीरे धीरे वो वापस आएंगे. कहाँ से कहाँ? भगवद लोकात नु लोकम पुनरागतः. सो लोक्यते इति लोकः. व्हाट वी पर्सन सीज, दैट इज द लोका फॉर हिम. तो ये तो अलग ही दुनिया में है. मीन्स ही इज थिंकिंग अबाउट समथिंग एल्स. सो इन दैट सेंस, सो उद्धव वाज ऑलवेज थिंकिंग ऑफ लॉर्ड कृष्णा. सो देयरफॉर he is said to be in Bhagavat Lok. Bhagavat Lokat Nulokam Shanakaihi Punaragatah. So he came back to external consciousness. And then Netre Vimrujja, तो जो आंसू आ रहे थे वो पोंछ लिए. And then Utsmayan, so he was very wonderstruck. And in that condition, Viduram prati Uddhava aha. So he spoke to Vidura. So here in some places actually prati aha, pratyuha, there are dekta here. Shanakahir bhagaval lokan nulokam punaragatam yurjanetri viduram prati aha. उधर प्रत्याह है, नोटिस्ड? क्या आपके बुक में क्या है? ओके, इन दिस टेक्स्ट प्रति, उद्धव के प्रति इस प्रकार प्रति, प्रति आह उद्धव, प्रत्या प्रत्याह. Okay, so there are both are seems to be correct. Anyways, this Katika, श्लोक नंबर 6. भगवान एव लोकः तस्मान लोकम. भगवान ही जिनके लिए लोक था, उस लोक से देहानुसंधानम प्रति आगतः. तो ये बॉडीली एक्सटर्नल कॉन्शियसनेस पर आ गया. उत्स्मयन यदुकुल संहारादि भगवत चातुर्य स्मरणेन विस्मयम प्राप्नुवन. तो recently happened event of Yadu dynasty getting annihilated and very intelligently arranged by the Lord. Bhagavat chaturya smaranena vismayam. तो उत्स्मयन का मीनिंग है, so he became विस्मय or wonderstruck, understanding Lord's expertise in destroying his own dynasty. So Prabhupada's translation. The great devotee Uddhav soon came back from the abode of the Lord to the human plane and wiping his eyes. Prabhupada has mentioned this point in the previous purport only. You noted? So sometimes you can observe like this. He awakened his reminiscence of the past and spoke to Vidur in a pleasing mood. Pritya or Prati. So मनमोहन शाह बाबू पढ़ने वाले थे पहले. So I think स्पीड जरा कम हो रहा है.
When Uddhav was fully absorbed in the transcendental ecstasy of love of God, he actually forgot all about the external world. The pure devotee lives constantly in the abode of the Supreme Lord, even in the present body, which apparently belongs to this world. The pure devotee is not exactly on the bodily plane, since he is absorbed in the transcendental thought of the Supreme. When Uddhav wanted to speak to Vidura, he came down from the abode of the Lord, Dwarka, to the material plane of human being. Even though a pure devotee is present on this mortal planet, he is here in relation to the Lord for engagement in transcendental loving service and not for any material cause. A living entity can live either on the material plane or in the transcendental abode of the Lord in accordance with his existential condition. Existential condition. The conditional changes of the living entities are explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in the instruction given to Srila Rupa Goswami by Lord Sri Chaitanya. The living entities all over the universes are enjoying the effect of the respective fruit result of their own work, life after life. Out of all of them, some may be influenced by the association of pure devotees and thus get the chance to execute devotional service by attainment of taste. This taste is the seed of devotional service, and one who is fortunate enough to have received such a seed is advised to sow it in the core of his heart. As one cultivates a seed by pouring water to fructify it, the seed of devotional service sown in the heart of the devotee may be cultured by the pouring water in the form of hearing and chanting of the holy name and fasting of the Lord. The creeper of devotional service, so nourished, gradually grows, and the devotee acting as a gardener goes on pouring the water of constant hearing and chanting. The creeper of devotional service gradually grows so high that it passes through the entire material universe and enters into the spiritual sky, growing still higher and higher until it reaches the planet Golok Vrindavan. The devotee gardener is in touch with the abode of the Lord even from the material planet
by dint of performing devotional service to the Lord simply by hearing and chanting. As a creeper takes shelter of another, stronger tree, similarly the creeper of devotional service nourished by the devotee takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord and thus become fixed. When the creeper is fixed, then the fruit of the creeper comes into existence, and the gardener who nourished it is able to enjoy this fruit of love, and his life becomes successful. That Uddhava attained this stage is evident from these dealings. He could simultaneously reach the supreme planet and still appear in this world.
So be in this world, but not of this world. This is the example, Uddhava's example. Or in Gita, lotus flower, Padma Padram Ivambasa. Or this Nariyal, coconut, Mukta Phal, Mukta Phalanchi, Kanti Zhake Mala Mukta Phalanchi. So, ripe or dried coconut. So when some respectable person comes, he is honored by giving that shawl and shriffle. So you also be like this. You be in this world but not of this world, O respectable person. That is the unspoken message for him. But unfortunately it has become a ritual now. People don't understand why shriffle is given. They just हाँ ड्राई होना चाहिए. यूजुअली ड्राइड ओनली, उसका फाइबर्स ड्राई रहते हो. हाँ बट नहीं नहीं हाँ दैट इज ऑल्सो. ग्रीन हाँ ड्राई मीन्स एकदम फाइबर्स वाला. थोड़ा बहुत चिपका रहता है वो पूरा. ओके वॉट एवर वे यू वांट टू टेक, बट द मेन सब्सटेंस इज व्हाट इज इनसाइड. फ्रॉम आउटसाइड इट मे अपीयर डिफरेंट. होता है. हाँ तो इनके कह रहे नहीं वो चिपका हुआ रहता है. एनीवेज द पॉइंट इज अभी be in this world, not of this world. We are stretching it too much now. Okay, next. So now Uddhav started speaking. Prati ah. So what he said? Uddhava uvacha Krishna dyumani nimloche girneshva ajagarenah किम नु नह कुशलम ब्रूयाम गतस्त्रीषु गृहेषु हम. So Uddhav is saying Krishna Dyumani. So Krishna is Dyumani means sun. तो उसके अस्त होने पर निम्लोचे means अस्त समये या अस्ते सती. तो गिरणेषु Ajagarenah. So Kala Rupi Ajgar has Gilankrut Nigiliteshu या ग्रस्तेषु. तो किसको? तो आगे की लाइन से एक संबंध ले सकते हैं. या सो वी आर swallowed by the serpent or Ajgar because of Krishna's disappearance, who is like a sun. So here we will read in the Tika. So meaning for the second line. So Gata Strishu Agruheshu Aham. So here Aham or Vayam, all the Yaduts. So in home, which is Gata Strishu. So it has become bereft of all the opulence. Gata Strishu. Katham ya Kimnu न हमारा कुशल आप पूछ रहे इतने प्रश्नों से, यदु वो कैसा यदु या अलग अलग नाम लेके। तो हियर नह मीन्स हम यदुओं का जो कुशल आप पूछ रहे हैं तो वो मैं क्या बताऊं। किम ब्रूयाम, किम नु नह मीन्स हमारा कुशलम ब्रूयाम। सो दिस इज द मीनिंग। लेट अस सी फ्रॉम द टीका, श्लोका नंबर 7। श्री कृष्ण विरहेण संतप्यमानः प्रति आह। तो एक्चुअली दोनों संतप्यमान है, लेकिन यहाँ पर अभी विदुर का ज्यादा डिस्ट्रेस है। श्री कृष्ण एव द्युमनि सूर्य, द्युमनि का अर्थ सूर्य, तस्य निम्लोचे अस्त समये सति। तो उनका अस्त होने पर तो अजगरेण काल महासर्पेण, सो टाइम महासर्प, गीर्णेषु निगिलितेषु नह हम गृहेषु त्वत्पृष्टानाम बंधूनाम। तो नह का मीनिंग है आपने पूछे हुए बंधु, त्वत्पृष्टानाम बंधुनाम किम नु कुशलम ब्रूयात, में क्या बताऊं हमें उनके कुशल के बारे में। तो इसका जरा विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर का टीका अच्छा है, थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा लेकिन जरा पेशेंस के साथ समझो एंड देन विल रीड द ट्रांसलेशन आल्सो। 7th, सो शोक व्याकुलम विदुरम आश्वासितुम प्रथमम एव सिद्धांतम ब्रुवन। तो विदुर भी शोकाकुल थे और उनका शोक को जरा सांत्वना करने के लिए, कंसोल करने के लिए, विदुरम आश्वासितुम प्रथमम एव सिद्धांतम ब्रुवन, पहले ये सिद्धांत बता रहे। स्व बहिर्वृत्त्या तद विरह संतापम लोकानाम दुरवस्थानम च आवेदयति। तो इनके इस पृथ्वी से चले जाने से स्व बहिर्वृत्त्या तद विरह संतापम लोकानाम दुरवस्थानम। So very difficult to bear the separation of Lord Krishna for all. For to speak of you, but all people are suffering. च आवेदयति, ये उनको अवेयर करा रहे। कृष्ण एव द्युमनि ही सूर्य, कृष्ण ही सूर्य है। तस्य निम्लोचे अस्त समय सति अजगरेण महासर्प रूप शोकांधकारेण। सो अजगर का ये जो मीनिंग है, एक तो सर्प और दूसरा शोकांधकारेण गीर्णेषु निगिलितेषु गृहेषु नह अस्माकं त्वत्पृष्टानां बंधुनाम किम कुशलम ब्रूयाम। यहाँ तक सेम है, यहाँ से थोड़ा आगे अलग है। अत्र ज्योतिष चक्रे स्थितस्य एव द्युमनेः रथ अश्व या अश्व रथ सारथ्यादि परिकर विशिष्टस्य। तो जब सूर्य का रथ चलता है, द्युमनेः अश्व रथ सारथ्यादि परिकर विशिष्टस्य यस्मिन् वर्षे अस्तमयः दृश्यते तद अन्येषु वर्षेषु तदा एव उदय पूर्वाह्न मध्याह्न आदयः। तो एक जगह अस्त हो जाता है तो दूसरी जगह ये जो मॉर्निंग आफ्टरनून इवनिंग दृश्यन्ते यथा तथा एव। तो सिमिलरली लॉर्ड also गोकुल मथुरा द्वारकास्थस्य सपरिकरस्य तत्तत् लीला मृत मज्जित जगज्जनस्य एव कृष्णस्य यस्मिन् ब्रह्मांडे अंतर्धानम दृश्यते। So all these places where Lord does Leela, drowns his devotees in that Ananda, and then he disappears. Brahmande antardhanam drishyate. Tada eva anyeshu brahmandeshu janmotsava, rasotsava, kaunsa vadha rukminyadi parinayotsavadya Leela. So different types of Leela. Janmotsava, Rasotsava, and Rukmini Parinatotsava. Drishyante. So the Lord's sun's rising and setting is compared to the different Leelas of the Lord. Jyotish Chakre Suryasya Udaya Purvahanyadya Pratiyamanatvad Avastavaha. So this Surya ka jo different phases hai, they are there at that time only. They cannot be eternal at that time. Therefore, avastavaha. Krishnasya tu janmadyaha tatra tatra nityatvad vastava eva iti vishesha. But Krishna's lila, wherever it happens, it is eternally happening there. It is not that it has gone, time has passed, therefore it is not there. Sarvasam Leelanam Nityatvam Prathama Skande Darshitam. In first canto, briefly it was mentioned. Dashamecha Punha Sa Pramanakam Darsha Ishyati. In 10th canto again it will be with evidence, with Praman, it will be described. Darsha Ishyati cha Yatha Suryastamayam Sambandhini Varshe Andhakarena Grasyamani. So in the particular varsha or place where Suryasta happens, Andhakarena Grasyamani, to word aaya hai, Girneshu, to Grasyamane, so who all become very disturbed. Kamalani Mlayanti, lotus flowers, they become morose or wrinkled, unka freshness. Chakravaka Vilapanti, type of bird becomes, or they do sound of vilap. Chor dasyu rakshasa pretadya hrishyanti tatha eva Sri Krishnantar dhana sambandhini brahmande dukha ajagara graste sadhavo mlayanti Krishna nuraginah vilapanti dharma setavo bhidyanti. The bridges of dharma, they are destroyed. Adharmika bhagavat bahirmukha hrishyanti iti uddhavena girneshu ityadina suchitam. गिरनेशु के लिए इतना विश्लेषण दिया है. तो प्रभुपाद भी अपने परपोर्ट में ये बात लिखते हैं. The translation for this sloka. Sri Uddhav said, "My dear Vidur, the sun of the world, Lord Krishna, hath set, and our house has now been swallowed. Griheshu gatastrishu girneshu ajgarena, swallowed by the great snake of time. What can I say to you about our welfare? Naha kushalam." So I'll read the purport quickly and then we'll have Gayatri Vik. The disappearance of Krishna's son may be explained as follows. According to the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Vidur was struck with great sorrow when he got the hint of the annihilation of the great Yadu dynasty as well as his own family, the Kuru dynasty. Uddhav could understand the grief of Vidur and therefore he first of all wanted to sympathize. तो सांत्वना देने के बाद बोला था with him by saying that after the sunset everyone is in darkness. Since the entire world has merged in the darkness of grief, neither Vidur nor Uddhav nor anyone else could be happy. This is the principle initially Uddhav is telling. Uddhav was as much aggrieved as Vidur and there was nothing further to be said about their welfare. The comparison of Krishna to the sun is very appropriate. As soon as the sun sets, darkness automatically appears, but the darkness experienced by the common man does not affect the sun itself, either at the time of sunrise or of sunset. Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are exactly like that of the sun. He appears and disappears in innumerable universes, and as long as he is present in a particular universe, there is all transcendental light in that universe. But the universe from which he passes away is put into darkness. His pastimes, however, are everlasting. Vastavaha. The Lord is always present in some universe, just as the sun is present in either the eastern or the western hemisphere. The sun is always present either in India or in America, but when the sun is present in India, the American land is in darkness, and when the sun is present in America, the Indian hemisphere is in darkness. As the sun appears in the morning and gradually rises to the meridian and then again sets in one hemisphere while simultaneously rising in the other, so Lord Krishna's appearance in one universe and the beginning of his different pastimes in another take place simultaneously. As soon as the pastime is finished here, it is manifested in another universe. And thus his Nitya Leela or eternal pastimes are going on without ending. As the sunrise takes place once in 24 hours, similarly the pastimes of Lord Krishna take place in a universe once in a daytime of Brahma, the account of which is given in Bhagavad Gita as 4,320 lakh solar years. But wherever the Lord is present, all his different pastimes as described in the revealed scriptures take place at regular intervals. As at sunset, the snakes become powerful, thieves are encouraged, ghosts become active, the lotus becomes disfigured, and the Chakravaki laments. So with the disappearance of Lord Krishna, the atheists feel enlivened and the devotees become sorry. तो गीता ये विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर का टीका का कनेक्शन था. भाई वो वर्षे लिखा है उन्होंने. हाँ हाँ, तो उनको इन डिफरेंट वर्षास फ्रॉम स्क्रिप्चरल नॉलेज सन का पाथ पे घूमता है, तो दैट टाइम दे हैव रिफरिंग टू वर्षास एंड प्रभुपाद इज रेफरिंग टू हेमिस्फीयर. वो फर्क है, हेमिस्फीयर एंड वर्षा. हाँ वर्षा मीन्स दैट इज व्हाट. ओके, थोड़ा लेट हो गया गायत्री ब्रेक. आई वॉज प्लानिंग टू गो अप टू 10 बट 80 हो गए. ठीक है, 7 ही हो गए. You decide, you are the coordinator, whatever you say. Is seen by the fishes in the water, and they consider this moon to be another kind of jalchar, another kind of fish, but they don't know the actual glories of the moon. Because of moon only, whatever food we are eating, whatever algae or different insects or different plants, or even the taste of all the vegetables. So it is because of somo bhutva rasatmakam. In Gita also Krishna says, Gama vishtecha bhutani dharayami aham ojasa pushnami aushadhim sarva somo bhutva rasatmakam. So I become the moon, and in that way I do portion of all the aushadhis. So that is the true glory of moon. But the fishes, they think he's another kind of fish amongst us. So this is Swami. Anushochan ah